4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umoette. We are still doing a review of the presidential election. And my guest is on the line. His name is Ahmed Buhari, Vice Presidential Candidate of the Africa Democratic Congress. Welcome to Insights.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Lawrence.
Good morning, Ahmed. And just to let you know that Ahmed Buhari holds a degree in geology and a master's in geographic information systems and spatial analysis. He also has a professional diploma in international trade and marketing. But today, he's speaking as a politician after being in the field. So, straight up, Ahmed, your party scored 81,919 votes. Do you think this is a reflection of your acceptance from Nigerians?
Well, Mr. Lawrence, I've been to your studio a couple of times, and all the times I came to your studio, we kept going back and forth with regards to the shadiness of the National Working Committee of my party, whose tenure elapsed, and they refused to allow a national convention to hold. I think, and I still believe, that we started really right, strong and promising, but the distraction from the expired National Working Committee, whose tenure had elapsed, who we all know had overstayed 17 years, which is unconstitutional. But again, a lot of people didn't pay attention to all the cries that we were making. And if you remember, towards the end of the race, they kept breaking themselves into factions, endorsing all the other political parties that seem to be the top runners. No doubt that affected our performance at the polls, but again, you can see that after the Big Four, we came fifth. That in itself will show you that we should want to call us smaller parties. Within the smaller party range, we did give a good fight, and indeed, I think it just calls for more work to be done and keep the structure that we already have intact and see how we can progress moving forward.
Well, you said that you went into the election distracted, and this distraction, some people will say it was self-inflicted. It wasn't from other people from other political parties. It was still your members. What are you going to do about, okay, the elections are over now, but we still have elections in March. What are you going to do about that?
Well, if you want to call it self-inflicted, you're free to do so, but the point still remains that we have what we call political jobbers whose responsibility or whose activities are constantly to continue negotiating with bigger parties. And that was why my principal, Dumibika Chiko, and myself refused at any point in time to negotiate with any party. And we told all our members that we're going to be taking this strike to the very end. I'm very pleased because as we speak, we have two House of Representative members that have been able to emerge regardless of all of this chaos. this gives our party some stronger standings moving forward. All we need to do is reorganize ourselves. With regards to the election results, 81,000 or thereabout, I think it's probably just the reflection of the Nigerian people amidst all of the confusion. We thank them, we appreciate them, we appreciate all the people that stood by us and stood for truth, and to let them know that indeed we kept to our words when we said we were not going to be negotiating with anybody and we were going to be getting to the finish line. With regards to the small chaos I'm seeing that looks like it's going to erupt because some people are not happy with the results. A few days before the election, Mibika Chiko and myself issued a joint press statement where we said clearly that except there's going to be an alliance between the PDP, the Labour and other parties, it is likely going to go to the APC. Our predictions came out exactly as we predicted. It was an APC contest versus a divided PDP, and that was the result that was served to Nigerians.
Okay, before the election, I'm aware that you and your principal and other members of your party traveled across the country during the electioneering period. What are the lessons that you learned? And if you were to do this all over again, what will you do differently this time?
Okay, so much respect to our members who received us in all the states that we were able to go to. Do not forget that we had cash constraints as well. But again, fundamentally, we decided we were not going to do rallies, knowing fully well that most of those rallies were being, orchestrated by money that we were going to share to passerbys, which is what all the other parties did, to be honest with you. For us, our concentration was on town hall meetings where we had conversations with, supporters and, intended supporters to hear what plans we have for Nigeria. I'm glad that on the grounds of communication, Nigerians have actually developed to the point where they started asking how and why and, what procedures you're going to use to implement all of the things that you want to say. At the same time, a lot of Nigerians like the sensational statements where you would say things like you're going to move the economy from a consumer economy to a producing economy, but in most cases they do not ask the how. Overall, I think it is work in progress. I think we're developing as a people, and my belief is that whatever the results or the outcome of the election is today, I want Nigerians to be steadfast. I want Nigerians to be trusting that a better Nigeria is going to happen. It's better for our mindset than to work against a system that governs us. In other words, we spent 8 years complaining about Buhari. In fact, some people fought Buhari, forgetting that they were fighting a government that was overseeing them, and the failure of that government was going to be a direct failure on the Nigerian people.
Okay, there are plans to reactivate the Third Force movement. Party part of this plan. Have you been approached by any group?
I'm not in any conversation to activate any Third Force movement. I keep telling people, we must not distract ourselves. Again, if you heard me very clearly from one of the earlier statements that I made, it was a contest between APC and a divided PDP. The Labour was a part of the PDP. Kwankwaso was part of the PDP. Wike's destruction was part of the PDP. Makinde from Melissa was part of the PDP. So anybody who is thinking that, this was a manipulated result and all of that, I'm again trying to make us understand that it was inevitable. This was going to be what was going to happen. If you notice, Buhari made about 15 million votes in 2019. Asiwaju was only able to make about 8-point-something million votes this time around. That means a lot of people were not excited about the APC, all right, given. And then if you put together the votes from Atiku, Kwankwaso, and Peter Obi, you will see that it could give you around 12 to 13 million, which means that if indeed they had stuck together, they were going to actually carry the trophy. It has to be done for country, not for self. And when we issue this press statement, it's asking them to come together for a collaboration only so that we can have a common ground to beat the incumbent. They refused, only for them to be coming together after the results had been announced to say, we're coming together to denounce. And I said to myself, you had the ability to come together to sit down and you refused to do it before now. Are you sure all of this brouhaha is about people or about yourself, ourselves.
Okay, looking at the figures from the election results, we see that the turnout was less than 25 million people actually voted in this election. We have another round of election on the 11th of March. Are we likely to see less voter participation from your experience?
It's going to be slightly reduced. A lot of people are disappointed. A lot of people now do not feel that they can trust the system, and this is what we keep doing to ourselves all the time. I say to people, anybody can win this election, all right? But we've got to be realistic. We've got to look at the numbers. We've got to look at the figures. We've got to say, okay, fine, I have pushed up to this length, up to this destination. I know now that I cannot complete it. If you're not going to be honest with yourself as a politician, then you're joking, all right? It's like what we say, that the activists will always have their say, but the politicians will always have their way, that sort of thing. But primarily deep down inside me, I know that the voter apathy is going to be affected in the next rounds of election, because a lot of people are going to say, oh, after we voted for my party and the other party, and they manipulated the result. My dear friends, there was rigging on all grounds. I keep telling people, everybody who's got an opportunity to rig always does it in his own enclave. The results that came out from different places, you could see that somehow there was some manipulation given. Forget about whether you belong to any party. Don't believe anything about your party insisting that, oh, they didn't do anything. If anybody got a chance somewhere where they've got popularity, they will always do it. And to be fair to the APC, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, they rigged the election. But to be fair to the APC, they lost some of their key states like Kaduna, like Katsina, like Yobe. These are places where they have some of their key officials, and I'm trying to let people understand that, look, they lost Plateau. They have a government Plateau as well, So indeed, I think our electoral system is getting better. And I think Nigerians must trust in it, and Nigerians must dissociate themselves from emotions and sentiments and go back to the drawing board and have better political calculations as to what they think the eventual results might be, only so that they do not get so disappointed at the end of the day.
Okay, and I deliberately didn't want to talk about INEC, but I'm just asking, that institution has come under a lot of dragging from Nigerians. How would you rate the performance of INEC, especially when it comes to this controversial issue of timely in uploading of election results from the polling centers?
We don't forget, INEC original staff are not up to 10,000 people. But for this election, INEC needed to use about 500,000 people to organize this process. In other words, people like you and me and all the Nigerians are the people that eventually become the drivers of the election process. It is us. Now we. And I keep telling people, most of the INEC staff are still in the offices, and then they've deployed a lot of ad hoc staff who are regular people like you and me on the streets, who actually, become part of the process that gives us the result that we get at the end of the day. But with regards to, passing the information through the server and all of that, the transmitting and all that we expected, and its inability to function, I keep telling people, I say, look, we still do not have the infrastructure to have electronic voting. It's the truth. Should we not start it? No, we should start it, and let's improve on it. I will tell you for free. I had people that work in the server room for INEC, because what INEC did was they had independent observers from all the teleports come into the server room to also help them monitor the process. And according to them, our servers in the first 24 hours of electioneering process of the elections on Saturday, the INEC server was targeted for by hackers 6,840 times in less than 24 hours from different parts of the world, all in a bid to see how they can crack that system to manipulate the figures. Whoever was doing this, we do not know. But I'm also trying to tell you that it could also be part of the reason why INEC became a little bit skeptical about its ability to pass through that system. The only issues we can bring up here would be if INEC indeed had given us their word that this was a system that was not penetratable, then why did you, spend so much money, or why did you say that it was going to be used at the end of the day? But again, like I keep saying, even the American system was hacked at some point in time. And that is why I keep saying, look, if we want a better country, we would have to keep trying these things and hoping that things get better. And if you want to beat an incumbent government, you have to be overwhelmingly ready for that. The only way Jonathan was going to be removed out of office was for every other person to come together to make it happen. That was what we were supposed to do last week.
Okay, well, all said and done, a winner has emerged, and the winner will be sworn in on May 29th, and we will have a new president. The challenges before the new president, obviously, will be enormous. But for you, what do you think will be the first thing the new president should address, the first few things he should tackle?
Okay, first of all, I would like to congratulate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think he's a dogged fighter. I think he won this. I think he knew that part of his challenges was the fact that he was posing to Nigerians a Muslim ticket. He also knew that he was from the Southwest and he needed to earn the respect and trust from Northern Nigerians. He started his campaign from that angle. He went to the Southeast. He went on his campaign from the areas that he felt he knew he was the weakest. Now, that is different from somebody else who started his campaign from where he had the biggest strengths. Your strength is your strength. Keep it there, massage it, but then your real concern should be in your weakest strongholds or your weakest holds. Now, I think that his real task would be to convince Nigeria that indeed he has the ability to deliver and earn our trust and earn our support, because no president will succeed if his flock is going east while he's going west. So indeed, I think it's apparent for him to be inspirational at a time like this and convincing as well, to make Nigerians understand that yes, indeed, they may not like him, but with his communication skills, he might just be able to get us, marking time and hoping that indeed he can, present to us that trajectory that we are yearning for. I keep saying one thing here. Amongst the guys that contested, including my principal and myself, he was the guy that was mostly targeted by a lot of naysayers. Somehow he eventually emerged. I believe that it is now time for him to, surprise everybody by putting together the best of teams and also getting ready to communicate with Nigerians more effectively, not like the Buhari administration, so that we know exactly what plans they have, only so that we can give him the support that he deserves.
Okay, Ahmed, before I let you go, some observers are not finding the current claims and counterclaims by candidates of this election, talking about those who are disputing it and everything. People claim that look at politicians who could not organize a seamless primaries, who could not obey the rules of their political parties, now coming for INEC because of the lapses in the election. When are we going to have politicians in different parties, including yours, adhere strictly to the rules of the game?
Mr. Lawrence, everything is still boiling down to what? Nigerians. You understand? It's still us. And that is why when we brought INEC into the conversation, I tried to remind us that though INEC might have its own faults, but up to 97% of the people that work with INEC as ad hoc staff in this last exercise or in this exercise were all from us, streets, from schools, from universities, as professors, youth corpers, So indeed, there's something fundamentally wrong with us. And like we've been saying, if this change has got to happen, it's got to start with us. We are all culpable to a large extent. Everybody keeps trying to shy away from the fact that they have one way or the other been part of the problems that we're experiencing. But indeed, if we do not change, nothing is going to happen differently. I just explained to you a small party like mine and the chaos within the party. Imagine if that same kind of man like Rafa Wonsu is now made like INEC chairman, or you make him the president of a country. Imagine what will be happening. Sitting tight, holding on to power, refusing to allow the constitution run supreme. These are the problems. We have to change. It's not just about the leaders, it's also a problem with followership.
Okay, Ahmed, final words as we go in the next 3 months before the president is sworn in. What do you think should happen? Final words to your members too.
Yeah, everybody should sit tight. Everybody should, should hope for a better Nigeria. It can happen. I believe largely that only a positive space can beget positivity. If we try to be negative, we're just going to be sad and everything's going to be stalling.
Thank you so much, Ahmed Buhari, Vice Presidential Candidate of the African Democratic Congress. Thank you for your interventions on Insight.
Thank you for having me, Lawrence. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. That's our package on Insight today. Our guest has been Ahmed Buhari, Vice Presidential Candidate of the African Democratic Congress. And next week, on Monday, we will reach out to other candidates in the last election. I will also analyze some of the things, and we'll also bring in INEC in the course of next week, officials from INEC in the course of next week, to also do a forensic interrogation of what exactly happened on that election. My name is Lawrence Umoette. Insight will return on Monday. For now, let's enjoy the rest of the day.